Oscar De La Hoya's boxing comeback is a huge mistake. Knuckleheads, welcome to Fighters Rep, where we give you our free fights, interviews in the fight game, and fight commentary from the mind of a promoter. Oscar De La Hoya, Knuckleheads, has not competed in a sanctioned boxing event for 12 years. And need I remind you that the last person Oscar De La Hoya competed against was Manny Pacquiao. Oscar was 35 years old then, against the much smaller Manny Pacquiao. And Oscar got absolutely crushed in that fight and embarrassed. That fight, Knuckleheads, wasn't even close, and Oscar De La Hoya, in fact, retired in the 8th round. Now, that was back on December 6th of 2008. So why is it that Oscar De La Hoya now, at the age of 47, wants to come back and compete again? And mind you, he's not going to be competing in the same weight division because there's absolutely no way an Oscar De La Hoya 12 years on is going to be able to make the same weight. He's probably at the very least going to compete at 154 pounds with the likes of guys like Jermell Charlo and Tony Harrison. But let's get back to the point. Why is it that Oscar wants to make a comeback? Well, let's read the quotes that Oscar De La Hoya gave to ESPN and delve into this a bit. This is what he says. He says, all these fighters are not at the level that was 15 or 20 years ago. All these fighters are demanding so much money. All these fighters are demanding the moon. And they're forgetting that you must train hard. You must work hard. So that's a huge advantage for me because I know what it takes to train hard. I know how to train. I know how to train smart. I know how to fight smart in the ring. These guys are in it just for the money. That will be the big difference. I will fight for glory, and these guys only fight for money. And then he says, guess what? Glory will always win. My goodness, Oscar De La Hoya, you are so noble, my friend. So you're not doing this for the money. You're doing this for the glory at the age of 47. I totally got you, my man. Listen, Knuckleheads, Oscar De La Hoya is a guy who not only has absolutely no chance at 47 years old to compete for any sort of significant title in boxing, but Oscar De La Hoya is a person that I'm genuinely concerned about. First and foremost, you always have to have a guy on your team to tell you, hey boss, come here. You're promoting the biggest star in boxing, Canelo Alvarez. Why aren't you concentrating on that? What are you doing trying to make a boxing comeback, and where are you going to find the time to do that being a promoter? You got to have people like that on your team, or somebody that'll tell you, hey boss, I don't think you're really thinking clearly here. Maybe you need to see somebody. Maybe you need to get some help. And then there's the hilarious response that Dana White gave where he basically said that cocaine isn't cheap. Oscar's making a comeback to make some money to buy some more cocaine. Now, while that's funny, it's also serious because Oscar De La Hoya truly does have an addiction problem. And who knows where that, mental issue starts and ends. I mean, we've heard and seen some weird things with regards to Oscar De La Hoya. Unfortunately, he's had some issues with his fighters. And, the way he's talking, the reasons he's giving as to why he wants to return, it's almost like he's trying to teach his fighters a lesson or prove some kind of point. Listen, Oscar De La Hoya was, I believe, something like a 6-division world champion. I mean, he has absolutely no reason to go back into boxing and prove himself. What he needs to be doing and what his people need to tell him about himself is that he has absolutely nothing to prove in boxing, but he's got a ton to prove as a promoter. He's got a ton of talent immediately surrounding him. It's immediately surrounding us. I'm a promoter here in Los Angeles. There are thousands upon thousands of kids here that are, incredible talents that are just waiting to be discovered. That's what he needs to be concentrating on doing, especially now during the pandemic. He needs to be getting shows off or finding a way to get a show off. You know what I mean? So I don't agree with Oscar De La Hoya making a comeback. I think it's either a cheesy PR stunt or he's either kind of losing it and making this decision. Whatever it is, it's not a good look, knuckleheads. So that's my opinion. I think this is a bad look. I think somebody needs to pull De La Hoya to the side and tell him, hey, you need to sit your ass down and work on your promoting. I feel like maybe he needs to get some help or something seriously is going on here. Something seriously wrong is going on here. So, knuckleheads, kind of tell me what your thoughts are on that. I'm genuinely concerned about the guy, but it is kind of ridiculous at the same time. And just weird. Just weird. You got Canelo in your stable. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, knuckleheads, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation and get your Fighters Rep gear in the link below. I'm out of here.